Wonder how close I can get without... I don't know. Oh, I keep stepping on my cats. Stepping on my cats. Steps, yeah. Oh, I wonder if I can do this. What? Oh, I can do this. So, yes. A view from the kitchen. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Haha! Can't really see anything. Shitty lighting in the kitchen. Oh, howdy. Weekend. Yay. Got back from dinner a few minutes ago. 7:30, Saturday. Next week this time, I will be in Vegas, getting ready to say I do. Actually, it's 3 hours behind. So, yeah, so we'll be emotionally preparing. I wrote vows today, which was a fun experience. Oh, I'll backtrack for a quick second. Got back from dinner with Sam. We went up to the streets, Chili's. That's one of the nice things about, yes, where we live here. Cheap wine. So cheap. So I had a couple of beers there, and I just want to keep the good times going. Diggity-doo. So, I don't know where to take this. Where may there be light? I suppose I could go right over here. It's the lamp. That could be weird. But, actually I'll leave that on. There's the chair cap. Over this side. Yay, Benny! Ooh. You're gonna fall off. You're gonna fall off. There, that's my tribute to Anna. Yeah, keep the good times going. Something like this. Urgh. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Cat hit tail in my wine glass. Move this over. No. Oh, so much. So much. Okay. How does that work? Does that work? It works a little bit. I can probably back this up. Back it up. Yeah. How's that for lighting? That's different. Something interesting. We got cat. We got a bigger background. Different. So, yeah. Howdy. It was a weird day. And it's become a weird day. My pimple is still healing, so I haven't had a chance to shoot the video yet. I've given up on yeah, I think I've given up entirely on the notion of webcams being done before Vegas. No big deal. Something to do when I get back, because this is what I'm anticipating. I think that it's going to be build. 13th, then Monday, and the trip back, everything's going to fall off the cliff. Everything's going to be just, all of a sudden, we're going on this big adventure with Sam, and we're going to come back to this, to all the same stuff. It's just going to be hideous and boring and disappointing, and it's, yeah. I mean, it's just because of the adventure of the week. Yeah. There's a lot of ground to cover. At some point, I'm going to talk a little bit about Emily M. Harbor and her in the harbor for Emily Harbor. So I get that now. New Jersey Harbor, something like that. I don't know what she's doing with that. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And Ziggy Starla has a new channel, another new channel. Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a positive way. And also a frustrated way, because I bought a cell phone off of her, and I'm pretty sure she hasn't even taken it to the post office yet. So I'm like, oh, where's my tech? Where's my gadgety goodness? Where? I want to know where. I should clarify that I sent her money like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But I want to get to that. Two other things. First, I have to email these guys directly, but I am giving up. The other thing I'm giving up on is the Monday night live broadcast of Getting Cynical with Slacktive and Rob. This past week ended up being horrific, horrendous, and I'm anticipating these last few days of next week, this coming week, to be the same right before I leave. Although there seems to be a chance that it might not be the case, where it might be much more laid back and simple. But at any rate, I haven't even given it an iota of thought. The live broadcast, and then on top of that, I'm worried that the standard of the live broadcast, the nearness, the looming nature of the live broadcast, which is a good way of putting it, might have a negative impact, might have had a negative impact on Sir Slacktive. So I'm concerned and I worry about that. And so for that and for those reasons, it's indefinite postponement until after Vegas, until I can get my head on straight and think more productively about things. And conversely, we did get Tripp's new First Thoughts out, but that's totally not as complex, if you will, because he shoots it. He does all the legwork, and then I just make it look good. And this one came out good. And man, the handcuffs. I guess I have to do more research to see the band, to learn more about that band. But wow, yeah. If you haven't seen it, Mystic Muppets. I think anybody watching this has seen it. But fantastic. And I made my pitch. I think I talked about it previously, but I did make my pitch to Tripp about what he could be doing and what we could do collaboratively with his videos. And I think it's interesting because I think the ideas had always existed, at least in my head, and they weren't. It wasn't a foreign concept at all. But I don't know that Tripp ever actually thought about these things specifically. So when I took the time to write it out and kind of pitch him in email form, I did what apparently, I do very well. I get people excited about an idea, and I think that ended up being the case here. So, as is the usual case in situations like this. The issue is real life and schedules and making time. And unfortunately, Tripp is extraordinarily busy. We've seen that over and over and over again. He keeps saying, okay, I watched his last First Thoughts as I was finishing up the new one for, reference what I did with credits and whatnot in the last video. And he said, okay, it was back in June, and he said, look for more videos this summer. Didn't happen. So, we see that happen, and it is a challenge. And again, Tripp more than anybody else with his classes and his studies and everything that goes with that. So again, I don't hold that against him. It's his project. It's his baby. So it's when he's ready to do it. But I think that in the coming months he'll come close to it, and holy shit, things will get interesting after that. Slacktive, buddy, I know you're out there somewhere. Do the pressures of and maybe I should just get on Google Hangout and see if you're online and bug the piss out of you. No, you're supposed to have your girlfriend over this weekend. But do the pressures of any sort of responsibility, like, okay, is it the pressure of being part of something bigger than yourself? Does that prompt the turtling? Yeah, that's my question for you. But all of that is a really good segue to Emily. And this really isn't about this really isn't about the cell phone, the purchase, because that's not a big deal. Emily, you can get it to me whenever you get it to me. It's again, I'm not relying on it or anything. I'm just waiting to receive that treasure in the mail, that package. You know what that's like. But Emily started a new YouTube channel. Conceptually, nothing foreign, especially to this world here, where I needed to start something fresh and completely different for this Possibly Jordan channel. So the problem, my criticism, if I'm going to offer some honest criticism, is that Emily, we've seen you do this 2-3 times already. That's the issue, and the thing is, every time you do this new channel, it always starts the same way. Like your introductory vlog is change the outfit, change the lens. I mean, it's virtually the same thing. Haven't done this in a really long time. Don't really know what I'm doing. I'm uncomfortable in front of the camera, but I want to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to do. It's that same message, and it's not just you, Emily. Everybody does that at some point, and it just gets tiresome. It's tiresome. So I wanted to first offer the criticism because that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. And I believe that if friends cannot offer honest opinions, then what the hell's the point? Am I right? And on another positive note, positive. I approve. I don't know what you shot with. I don't know what camera you're using, but like I said in the comment, awesome quality. It was really good. Framing, whatever. I mean, it was very decent. It was. I mean, for what you've done in the past, this was a very technologically legitimate step forward. So big props on video quality, camera, using a tripod. Fantastic. I love it. It was great. But it's just, the key here is going to be the follow through. And part of what you said was capturing, recording your thoughts, and that speaks to using this a little bit as a journal. And my best example, and if I'm going to say, hey, do something like this, my best example is my Hollywood Can Wait video on my main channel. That came from a series of vlogs that I did here over a course of a specific week. And when you look at that, you can see the framework or the premise that I generally try to adhere to when I do these vlogs. Because when you go through your day-to-day life, and whether you try to vlog every day, every other day, 3 times a week, whatever the case may be, I know in my case, there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of routine. So if it's constantly talking about the same things over and over and over again, what the fuck's the point? People don't want to see it if it's the same stuff over and over again. And more importantly, for posterity, you going back, that's the key, I think. If you go back and rewatch your video, is there going to be any part of it that you go, oh, I'm glad I recorded this, so that that helps me remember this moment of time? Or are you going to look at it and say, I had coffee that day, or it was a stressful day at work and I didn't really explain why, or what was it? If you just look at it and go, why did I record that video? Then you're wasting your time. So if you look at the Hollywood Can Wait video, you can see you can see this major event that happened earlier this year, at the beginning of this year. And the idea was to really capture my raw emotions and feelings as it was happening. And I'm so glad I did that, because when you watch the video, you can see my neurosis and my anxiety and my second guessing and questioning of my abilities and my skills as a creative person at the start of the video and the progression through that first part of the video, and then realizing after all of that, in spite of all of that, the product I ended up producing, the completely original commercial that I wrote, shot, and produced with the hired talent and all that, even in spite of all the things that went wrong or all the things that I thought were wrong, it was phenomenal. And it's a landmark achievement, not for myself, but for the business I worked for. And granted, it's a year hasn't even passed, but when I went back and watched that video from a couple of, the other week, I was so grateful to myself for recording those details, recording those details about how I was so doubtful and how much I second guessed myself. Because that is something I want to remember. I want to remember that experience of not believing in myself and realizing that even in spite of that, I exceeded any and all expectations. So yeah, that's the framework. That's the premise of which I try to do my car vlogs, my vlogs in general, I suppose. It's not so much the details about the day-to-day, but how those things end up affecting me and how they make me feel, and how that moves me forward, I guess, in the broader scheme of things. Does that help? I think that should help. So I hope you watch this video, and I hope you find that helpful. If I think of anything else, I think I will pass it on. But actually, there is a good point, and this was a conversation I was having with Tripp as we were trying to figure out his IRL issue. The key, well, I guess the problem for Tripp and I is that, and I don't mean this in an offensive, bad way, but we have very busy lives, and Tripp triply Tripp is triply so than me. So for him, the challenge was finding time to actually shoot the video. I'm at the other end of the video. All he does is send me the raw stuff, and I will cut that together and produce that so that he can post it. So hopefully that simplifies the process of that. But he still has to find the time to sit down in front of the camera and postulate and talk. And for me, that much of that's a very similar argument, because I'll spend 8 to 9 hours a day at the office, but I don't have time to sit in front of a camera and vlog. I can't do that in that professional capacity. When I come home, that's my time with Sam. So this is a unique situation where it's a weekend and she went out to go shopping. So I can take advantage. I've got something to say, and I can take advantage of this time here to record a vlog. But on average, within that regular routine, it turned out that the best time I have to actually engage the camera is when I'm sitting in the car, and that's the fundamental base reason why it is a car vlog. Emily, for you say you have plenty of time. Maybe it's a completely different story. Maybe, but what is the framework? For me and Tripp, it's about finding that time, or rather isolating that time. Once it's isolated, once we know where that time is, everything kind of falls into place after that. And I think we potentially will see that with Trip in the coming weeks. But if you have plenty of time, I think it falls to discipline, right? It falls to discipline. Well, see, that's a writing thing. That's a writing thing, which you can appreciate, but because vlogging is completely different from writing. So you can be very disciplined about sitting down at 8 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? Turn your camera on and vlog, but if you don't have anything to talk about, you're going to wind up shooting these videos that are just completely fucking pointless, as we already discussed. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of isolating the time. Maybe it's not so much as isolating time in the day, but isolating a time after something interesting has happened. Isolating that time when, if you have plenty of time to set up a camera and vlog, isolating the time when, and identifying the time, maybe that's the proper word, identifying the time when you have something worthwhile to vlog about. If you can crack that, then I think you'll probably find this new channel and the exercise of vlogging to be much more productive. So, yeah, feel free to respond. We can have a dialogue about it. I don't mind, and don't take anything seriously, too seriously rather. The rules of the dialogues on within this channel, hopefully should be in any channel, is never to take any offense. As I said at the beginning, we share friendship, and if we can't engage in conversation without offending, then what the hell's the point? That might not have come out right, but yeah. Anyway, the last thing is, I know this is getting long compared to the last vlog or two that I've posted. No, so okay, we're average right now. The last thing I want to say is that this has been a bad day for sisters. This has been a bad day for sisters. So Emily, actually, yes, since you're a sister, you need to step up to the plate and really make up for the losses today. Yeah, Vegas is next week, and Lisa, Sam's sister, who lived with us, very close to us, kept saying she was going to go, and from last night, didn't even get it till this morning, there was a voicemail, but there was a domestic violence issue. And, there's a bigger issue and bigger problems at play than Vegas at the end of the week, but, that's a casualty of those issues, those problems, is that in spite of her saying, yes, I'm going to be there, yes, I'm going to be there, I'm just watching the prices and we'll be buying a ticket soon, there's not a chance in hell she's going now. So Sam only has her father and her cousin coming to Vegas, and it's not a huge deal, but it is at the same time, because she never even invited one sister. She thought she could count on Lisa to be there, and yeah, that's the other issues, the domestic violence and everything that is entailing, that is a load of stress on a day and a week where, good Lord, we don't need that. We don't need it or want it. But it is frightening. It is frightening, and to be selfish, yes, it is frightening. How much it's going to impact the coming week. If today's been any indication, it's certainly You know, it's not something that can be just brushed aside. And then hours after that, I get a Facebook message from my own sister saying, "Hey, I don't know if Mom told you, but I'm not going." Oh, well, thanks for letting me know. Can't tell if I'm doing a good job keeping the buzz going. Yeah, I don't know. I'm because Sam's issue is Sam and Lisa, that whole issue eclipses Heidi. But I guess if I were to sit and dwell, you have this comparison. You have this obvious comparison. My own mom, Sam's father, and maybe those are the givens. I don't know. But then you have Trip. Oh my God, Trip, and Matty Ho, and his family, and Mark, and the people that are coming. Not that it was ever, not be very clear. Vegas was never. We're getting married in Vegas. Please come. That was never the case. It was always, we're getting married in Vegas. If you can come, if you want to come, you are welcome. Absolutely. It was never with the expectation that we would have this massive turnout. But you can't help but compare those people that are coming, their reaction, their reason. Their, oh my God, Jordan and Sam, you're getting married in Vegas? Of course, we're going to be there. No questions asked. What does it take to make it happen? Doesn't matter. We're going to make it happen. And to see that the people, or that there are people in our lives that are able to make that statement and follow it up is a blessing, first of all. But then to see the people that we thought would make a similar effort, and that list is growing. It is surprisingly so. And they don't make that effort. They don't live up to this standard, this unintentional standard, this is it an unfair standard? Maybe. But, and I'm not saying that the people coming aren't important, but the people that should be coming, that aren't. The people that should be there for Sam, that aren't. Heartbreaking. But it's Devilmas. That's always good. And the wedding is a good reminder for that, because we're surrounded. We're just genuinely surrounded by good friends. There's a small bit of family there, but I feel like the impact is the good friends. We've got the alcohol. Zombies are around here somewhere. That's Devilmas, baby. And if you haven't read the blog about it, I did a little bit of a recap of this Devilmas season so far, which also ended up being like a recap of a small recap of Devilmas Pass, and I counted for the first time. I've never done this before because the first Devilmas took place in once I pinned it down, 2007, and I think that's accurate. But I did count that this was the 6th annual Devilmas celebration, the 6th annual acknowledgement. What's the word? I think I am keeping the buzz going. And I've talked for 30 minutes. And this was a good talk. This was a productive talk. So, if you have watched this whole thing, thanks for watching. Emily, please, let this be the prompt for your next video. Respond. I look forward to it. You have a very good relationship with your sister. What would that be like if you or her were to get off and get married, and the other wasn't going to be there? The other made an effort not to be there. And I'm sitting at dinner when and I'm like, we're talking about it, but I can see how much it bothers her. So we talk about it. So like, there's a portion of the discussion that's like, all right, set your mind at ease. Try to minimize the impact of it. And then there's the other part of the conversation that ends up being, okay, let's not talk about this and get away from it because it's not productive anymore, and it's just stressing you out. But there was a point in all of that where I'm going, man, my relationship with Jason is perfect because we don't even talk. It's perfect. I'm sure he knows we're going to Vegas to get married. He has a dialogue with my mom that does take place, but he was never invited. I don't want him there, and I have no doubt he doesn't want to be there, nor does his wife want to be there, and it's just, I can't help but take a step back and go, it is nice, the freedom and the freedom of saying enough's enough. You are not going to be part of my life, plain and simple. To draw that line in the sand is freeing, is liberating. What do you think, Slactive? Come on, get cynical with me, baby. Stay creative.